there's a hawk outside my window. Very cool. You can probably hear him. You hear that? It's a hawk. I don't really like the hawk because he chases after my rabbits. Dude, I had this like kamikaze rabbit outside my window about a week ago. And the rabbits have like their feeding time, and then at a certain point in the morning, the hawks come out. And it was probably like 7:15. And at 7:15, all the rabbits are gone because the rabbits know that their eating hour is usually from 6:15 to 7:15. And then at 7:15, the rabbits all know, like, we gotta go because hawks are about to show up. Because hawks always show up at the same kind of time. Usually around like 7:15, 7:30, or when the hawks start coming into my yard and my neighbor's yard. And there was this crazy kamikaze bunny out there just eating grass. And I'm like, yo, rabbit, what are you doing, dude? You're gonna be like hawk breakfast. So I just kept making my eye, like keeping my eye trained on the rabbit, making sure that no hawk was gonna eat him. Because hawks, man, they carry the bunnies away. They just come over, swoop them up, pick them up, and just carry them away. Hawks do that, and falcons do that a lot down here with like little dogs and cats, which is really sad. You don't want to see your dog or cat get, swooped up by a hawk or a rabbit. I mean, hawk or a falcon. And but my pets are the bunnies, bunny rabbits, and the squirrels, and like a spiritual connection with blue jays. And so those are like three of my like go-to animals, I guess you could say. So they're pretty much my pets, as are jumping spiders. And I really like chickadees, like the small chickadee birds. They're pretty cool. So anyways, I hope you're having a great day. You can make a list of your favorite animals in the comments below section. And your favorite insects, if you have favorite insects. Yeah, so today's a really good day. I'm on like THC, CBD pills for anxiety and insomnia and depression. So I'm really happy. I don't really have any emotions right now. I'm just very calm, and everything's just really nice. Yeah. So this is what it's like to be on certain CBD and THC pills. If you have a distillery or anything like that. It's like, I suffer from OCD and anxiety and all this other stuff. And, let alone, all the really heavy stuff. OCD and anxiety, that's just the small stuff. But they pretty much do have a big toll on my everyday life, I guess you could say, even though they seem little. They affect my traveling with people. Like whenever I have to go somewhere with a person, or like whenever I have to go on vacation, it's extremely stressful for me. And I usually have to cook. Like for instance, I had to go to this festival about, was it like 3 weeks ago? I went to that music festival. And the day before the music festival, I was inside cooking it was 8 hours straight. I started at 4:40 a.m. and I didn't finish cooking until like 2 p.m. So it was like 8, 9, 10 hours of just cooking, because I had to cook all my food for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So for 3 days of food for me, it took me 8 hours to cook, and I was just in my room for 8 hours, just sitting on the floor cooking. And I put it all in Tupperware bins and put it in a gigantic cooler that my mom let me borrow, because I don't own many things. I don't own things like coolers. I'm not really a functioning person. So yeah, it is a little stressful for me, and it takes a lot of work if I want to go somewhere for 2.5 days. A lot of food preparation, and Tupperwares, breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that's where the OCD plays a big role. Like I have to have my own food. It was kind of sad. I had this sad moment last night. I've been really lonely lately, and I think I've been going on a lot of dating websites because I've been so lonely, which is really rare for me. Because Monday through Friday, I keep so active and so busy, and I'm around so many people. I usually don't get lonely from Monday to Friday. But on Saturday and Sunday, I do. I've never liked the weekends. I've never liked Saturday. I've never liked Sunday. And especially Sunday, because when I was a kid, I used to get bullied. I used to get beat up a lot. I used to get picked on and stuff like that when I was in school. And I always had problems with people. I was very scared of people too. I was always scared of getting beat up. So Sunday was extremely stressful for me, and I was extremely upset and worried on Sundays, Sunday nights. And I remember when I was a kid, when Sunday night would come around, I would have this tremendous fear inside me, and I'd be like, oh my god, I have to go to school tomorrow. Oh my god. And it was this dark feeling, this horrible feeling that I had to go back to school the next day. God, it was awful, man. Especially in 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, and 9th grade, those 5 years, every Sunday, I just felt this nightmarish dread and horror to be going back to school on Monday, and I would just feel it all Sunday, and then Sunday night, God, a lot of times I would fake throwing up in the bathroom on Monday morning, just because I was so scared to go to school, and I was so nervous to go to school. Yeah, man. So I've never liked the weekends. And on Friday, I remember when I was, growing up, I would never really be invited to the big parties, and in college I kind of felt like a loner a lot of the time. And when I grew up and I was in my 20s, nobody would ever message me or invite me to get-togethers or invite me to parties or anything like that. So my 20s were very lonely. On Friday nights I would never have anywhere to go. I'd always be by myself on Friday night. So I would just go to bed early on Friday night just to not feel upset anymore. I would go to bed on Fridays very early, 8:30 p.m., 9 p.m. on a Friday night, just so I wouldn't feel depressed about not feeling loved or accepted, or feeling rejected, not being accepted by the people around me, not being rejected by my peers and the people that I worked with and things like that. They didn't really want me around because they knew that there was something wrong with me. They did. And it's hard, a lot of that isn't really under our control. And during that entire time, when I felt that way, rejected, not accepted by my peers and rejected by my peers and not feeling loved or anything like that, that whole entire time I wasn't on meds. I wasn't on Depakote or anything like that. And so the depression was worse. And obviously You know, I probably always looked angry, and I always looked frustrated. Um, you know, and I was always probably either manic, talking very fast, in a fit of rage. I didn't really care about anybody else. I was an alcoholic for the most part. Didn't treat people very nicely, I guess. So, I don't know, man. When you're like us, it's like, I don't know, you try to get used to being rejected and not accepted by people, but it's hard sometimes, especially on Friday nights, especially on Saturdays and Sundays, because that's when you really feel the rejection. Because that's when you're supposed to be out having a good time, you know, being accepted by people. But you're by yourself in your room, by yourself alone, in the dark most of the time. You know, wishing you could have friends, or wishing you could have, like, decent, loving people in your life. Wishing that people would just accept you. I wrote a couple chapters in my book, you know, like the ebook, in the comments section below. I write about the ebook in the comments section. You know, the one on Amazon. And I read about a lot about, you know, the feeling of a Friday night, you know, being dark and alone on a Friday night, and feeling extremely depressed and rejected on a Friday night, and just sitting, you know, in your room, looking out a window at the dark, at the street lamps, knowing that nobody loves you or nobody cares about you. Everybody rejects you. Nobody accepts you. And the feeling, how that feels. I read about that a lot. I've had a lot of heavy stuff in that book. That book's really fucking heavy. I honestly can't get through it without getting, like, really, really fucking depressed. My sister told me to stop reading it. She's just like, you know, you gotta stop reading. You just gotta stop reading this book and editing this book. It's really fucking you up. So I stopped, because I told her I'd stop. But yeah, you know, I mean, like, you just gotta deal with the rejection and not feeling accepted. And I don't know if that will ever end for us, you know. I think that might continue throughout the rest of our lives. You know, so yesterday I was at home by myself all day, you know, alone. And I decided to take a walk at night. And I saw this man on his lawn, you know, having a conversation with this Mexican guy that he hired to be his lawn service guy, to mow his lawn and that kind of thing. And I guess the guy went back into his house, because on my way back walking around the neighborhood, he wasn't in the front yard anymore. The man that owned the house. And I looked at his house, and I thought about how he probably had a wife. Because when I passed by and I saw him the first time, he seemed happy, and he seemed like a nice guy, and he was wearing like a white polo shirt and, you know, belt and black short khakis. Looked like, you know, just come back from a day at golf or something like that. And I thought about how he probably had a wife. And I looked at his garage, and I looked at this solar panel, or this light in his front lawn, and how nice and comfortable his house looked. And I thought about how he probably sat in easy boy chair every night. And he had a wife that he watched television with. And they'd been married for 30 years, and neither one of them go through hard times, and if they do go through hard times, they have each other to lean on. And they're not depressed or lonely. They talk and they watch television, and they have dinners together, they probably laugh. And I started to, for a second, wish that I had that. And it got me really upset. And, I've been talking to this girl on Tinder, and we're really hitting it off, but she doesn't have, like, the correct facial features for me. I'm very, 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 I'm an artist, so, and it's not shallowness, it's just, like, because of my splitting and my black and white, and because of my mania, jumping in and out. Like, I just know in my heart that I'll just end up hurting her. I'll end up cheating on her, or I'll end up, like, not liking her anymore because I'm in a manic stage and she's just not good enough for me anymore, or I can't relate to her anymore, or she's not as pretty as, like, somebody else that I just met. And I know eventually I'll fall out of love with her and I'll fall in love with somebody else just because she doesn't have the right facial. And I'll end up breaking her heart, and I'll waste time in her life. And I know this because I've done it to so many people. I write about that in the first chapter of my book, about how, when you have, like, borderline personality disorder, like, you're extremely jealous, and you're extremely scared to be abandoned, and you're extremely scared to, like, lose the person that you're with. But at the same time, I'm very bored with people very quickly. Like, it seems like I always want something new. And if I'm with a person and I start to lose interest, like, I want that new quick fix. And a lot of it probably has to do with the fact that I'm an addict, whether it's because I'm, like, an alcoholic, or the fact that I can't really be calm unless I'm on drugs. But I know that I would just end up hurting her. And I also live this half-life where I can't give people what they really want, because I don't make money. I don't make that kind of money. So even if I did meet that girl, and I decide to have the comfortable life house and sitting down in a chair watching TV with my wife every night, it's like, number one, could I stay married to somebody for 30 years without getting bored because of my splitting and my black and white thinking and my abandonment issues and my getting bored with people easily? And number two, would you be okay with living with a person that has a half-life? Can't keep a job, constantly getting fired for getting angry or yelling at people. It's like, what do you do? I don't know, man. Leave a comment below if you dig this video, if you have anything to add to it. And if you're interested in the book, which is really fucking quite chill, Just read the comments below. It talks about the ebook on Amazon. And I wanted to give it away for free, the book. But Amazon doesn't let you do that. You know, like, obviously I don't care about money at all, man. Like, I always have money extra every month on SSI. You know, I only get like $780 a month, and I gotta pay for a room to rent and food, and that's pretty much all I buy. I don't buy anything else. I don't really believe in buying anything for myself. And I always have like $45 left over every month on the 31st. So I don't really use money. I don't buy things. But Amazon wouldn't let me put the book on Amazon for $0, which is what I wanted to do. But Amazon needs to make money, so they had to tell me to sell it for, you know, price of a cup of coffee or something like that. So it's like $3 for the book, for the ebook. But yeah, man, I don't know. I think if you read it, you could relate to it. It's a fucking sad book, man. But it's also pretty funny, because it talks about, like, being borderline, bipolar, schizoaffective, you know, eating disorders, you know, all this other stuff. But sometimes it talks about how just incapable of we are of taking a shower for 1 month, and like how we just can't function. And in some parts it's funny, because in a way sometimes we have to laugh at ourselves, because like we're so unfunctional. We just can't do things sometimes, and it's just like, other people might think that's humorous, and like it kind of is, man, because like we don't necessarily live in reality. We're always in the state of wanting to die, or just in the state of fucking not being able to live like a normal average person. Average person, not normal person. An average person. 99.2% of the population. Alright, everybody, have a great night. Peace.